Good day to you, my friend. It is time to unlock the very first, and maybe only ancient, I'll be unlocking from this event, because we finally have enough holy talismans to unlock Pokra. So of course Pokra is an ancient fire and earth dragon, and it's arguably the best, if not one of the best, available dragons from the current event. But the problem with Pokra is that if you didn't already have pieces for Pokra, it's kind of difficult getting 500 pieces of Pokra for most players within the first 2 weeks of the event. But I already had pieces, and I've been playing pretty casually, and we have enough holy talismans to unlock the final 193 pieces of Pokra. So there we go. So with this ancient doesn't count towards any special collections or anything like that. But if there is going to be an ancient to pick up in this event, Pokra is a really, really good one because it's got ancient and fire, which is good for multi-target quests in the dungeon, and earth, which is, of course, also super good in the dungeon. But will I be using Pokra on my team? Probably not. But, again, we may have a use for Pokra in a secondary team one day. Who knows? But, I mean, Pokra is also kind of a cool-looking dragon. And just in general, those elements are really, really good. Now, Pokra isn't a dragon that I'd recommend that you use if you have to use all three of its elements all the time, because you're never going to get a chance to leech and fire and earth all the time. But very, very solid dragon in general, and if you've got another AoE user or another shielder, you can definitely make good use out of it. But we're going to have to wait another 4 days now, of course, because Pokra isn't ancient. And we will be getting a new Trampler style body in just under, well, 10 hours and 33 minutes. How cool is that? Our first ever Trampler body type. We've been waiting ages now. Like, we've been waiting days to get that new Trampler dragon, but they take so long to actually hatch. Oh my days. It's so annoying sometimes. But of course, for the rest of this event, we would have the choice of either buying Halmy, Nolvind, or we could next buy Lozra, because I also never managed to get Lozra from a past ancient event. And, you know, if we've got like 2.5 weeks left of the event, that's still a decent amount of time to collect enough talismans. I'm not going for Ventu. I've given up on Ventu. But who knows what else is going to happen. But today I did also want to take the time to go through quickly what the drop rates were, both for the Dragon Board stuff and obviously the ancient chests themselves as well. But, you know, we've got Fovan, which you can get many pieces of, but it's very, very unlikely. But we also have the ancient market. And now, you'll notice that I've only got 77 of these silver horns, and the new Swift Pixie Dragon is 400 silver horns. And now, if you were thinking that this sounds like a ridiculous price for this epic, you'd be correct. It is, because if we actually check the DML wiki for this, on the actual Dragon Board event page, you'll see what the drop rates for silver horns are, because you can get more than ×1, you'll be happy to know. But the actual chance of getting the biggest drop of silver horns, which is 50, is a 0.03% chance. And if you want to put this into perspective, I'm pretty sure this is the same chance as getting like some big drops for, you know, the major event reward dragons, and in past events getting the major reward dragon itself. So the chance of getting ×50 is incredibly low. On average, you have a 69.8, funny number, apparently it was 69.9 or 6, right? But you've got a major, major chance of getting in every single chest just ×1. Then there is basically a 28% chance of getting 3 silver horns, 2% chance of getting 5, and then even to get 10, it's a 0.17% chance. And now, all things considered, I think these chances, if we have silver horns or the ancient market in future, need a massive, massive change, because a lot of people are very, very much behind. Like, I haven't been doing tons and tons and tons of dungeon grinding, and of course the game breaks every time I resize it. My bad game. I realize I'm never allowed to resize the game ever again. I get it. But, you know, those drop rates are just so incredibly low. Like, it's unbelievable how low they are. So I think in future, Ancient Market seriously needs a massive rework. It is the first one we've ever had, so, you know, it was probably bound to have issues. But Ancient Market has not felt fun at all. And now we don't even get the rare dragon, so a lot of people aren't going to get the epic or the rare dragon that we used to get from these Dragon Board events, and it's just kind of depressing. It's like we're getting less and less and less actual rewards out of these events, apart from the major dragons. And I don't know, it can be a little bit disheartening for some people, but those are drop rates anyway. And then for the actual talismans themselves, of course we've talked about the times 50 drops before. I've only gotten one of them so far, but I have managed to get a singular times 50 drop. These are the current drops that you can get out of the actual ancient chests themselves. You know, times 1 is a 44% chance, times 3 is a 47% chance, times 5 is an 8% chance, times 50 is a 1%. Honestly, I can't see why the actual Ancient Market drops can't be closer to this. Like, it's, at most you can at the moment you can probably get Swift Pixie and nothing else, unless you spend lots of money. Even if it was a lot closer to these chances, I think people would have a much nicer time with Ancient Market. I don't know why it's so extreme with the drops, but, you know, if you didn't know that before, now you know what the actual drops are, and if you were worried about you being super behind on the Silver Horns, you're not the only one. Because, you know, people expect to at least be able to buy a singular epic dragon, and then some of the other stuff as well, right? Well, not really at the moment. You can't really afford to do that. So some people are actually opting to not even buy Swift Pixie at all, and instead of buying Swift Pixie, just buying the premium Sigil chest instead, because, you know, that's going to be 816, 240, so that's going to be at least half the cost of Swift Pixie. So, can you actually get 3 premium Sigil chests and Swift Pixie? Probably not. Not for most people. So, you know, realistically I say choose what you want to actually get. If you're really desperate for the epic, you know, go for it. But, you know, I think the biggest issue with this is, if you remember, we actually had a Breeding Blitz event which included Swift Pixie in week 1 of this Ancient event. And considering the drops, even if you were someone that spent a decent chunk of money, there was absolutely no chance you were getting Swift Pixie in week 1. Like, obviously, if you spend enough, sure. And if you got so insanely lucky with 0.03% drops repeatedly, which is not going to happen, then maybe you could get Swift Pixie week 1, but even to the spenders, I cannot see that being possible. And remember, not everyone in DML spends money. In fact, most people are free to play or spend very little. So the fact that they had an expectation for people to get Swift Pixie week 1, I think was kind of ludicrous. It was really shocking. But, you know, like I said, everything about the current epic and Ancient Market, I really do feel needs a rework, because so far it's just not been very interesting. In fact, it's even worse than the previous system, I would say. Like, the previous system, we landed on yellow tiles and we got pieces for the dragon. You had the chance of getting a full dragon every single time, or mostly it'd just be small pieces. Like, I got a full reptilian once and that triggered me greatly, because it had the same drops as the major reward. But now we don't have that. Now even if you get the major drops, which is a times 50, you'll still have to get that multiple times. So yeah, it's got a lot of problems. Some people might think it's great, but a lot of the people that I've been speaking to genuinely really dislike Ancient Market in its current state, so I do genuinely really hope to see some changes. Will we? Who knows? But, you know, aside from that, at least in this event, we can get Oira in Double Trouble. You know, getting an Ancient from Double Trouble is great. And, you know, all the other Altar Dragons, at least if you save up gems and you're dedicated to the game and your login times are nice, you can at least get, you know, multiple Ancients. But, you know, at the same time, having to do the dungeon like 7 million times is still boring. But at least the system is, relatively speaking, compared to a lot of their old systems, quite fair. So it's not something I like to complain about too much, the altar system, but, you know, I'm still not gonna ever stop complaining about the same thing I've been complaining about for how long now? The last 4 years? Just the reset system in general. Because, you know, especially now for me, this is becoming a problem. Like, because I play on Windows, I literally cannot log in for specific resets anymore. Like, it is not possible. So there is just no way that I can play this event like I was before. You know, I hate the 6-hour resets. If they changed the resets to 8-hour resets, I think that would be a hell of a lot nicer for a lot more people and actually allow them to, you know, play the game and finish the major events. And, you know, I've been complaining about that for years now, so it's not like it's a sudden complaint. But, you know, it just kind of sucks. It's like, oh wait, you have a life? Well, no ancients for you. Get screwed, you. Well, I got Pokra, I guess, so I can't complain that much. But, you know, I guess I just thought I'd throw out some of the overall problems that I still have with these events. But again, altar system overall is still a nice system in terms of for free-to-play players. If they just save up their gems and they're smart and they have a good team, then, you know, you can get Pokras free-to-play. You can get Ventus free-to-play. So I'm never going to complain about that aspect. But we'll see. We'll see where things go. You know, they did change this Dragon Board event and took away the bingo, which I think was a big thing. Because, you know, the event was heavily reliant on getting extra currency and dragons from bingo, but now we're not even getting the bingo dragons anymore. It just feels like a lot of things are being taken away, and they haven't really been replaced with anything. But, once again, we'll see. I just wanted to do one more lap here, and then I will probably skedaddle for today. You know, I'm eager to get that Trampler dragon out, but, you know, I would not say no to a times 500 drop for Fovan. My actual drops for Fovan were terrible 2 days ago. I finally started getting some times 5s, but man, oh man, they have been bad. Like 96 pieces and 64 chests is still pretty It's It's not the best, it's not as bad, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but definitely could be better, right? It definitely could. But overall, I'm probably not going to be worried about Dungeon too much, like pretty much at all anymore. Now that I've at least got Pokra, which was, you know, a dragon that I missed before. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if we get any crazy drops, any repeated times 50s. That would be nice, right? But, you know, good luck if you are going for the Valentine breeding. I've already got all these dragons, so I'm not worrying about any of this at the moment. Cake Craze also has a dragon that I already have. But, you know, I might as well try and get some of it done so that I can get some windstones. I will definitely always be one to go for more windstones. I just need some blooming cherries right now. But I do appreciate you joining me here today. And again, we will have that new divine trampoline boy come in probably tomorrow. So I look forward to your return then.